Hi, this is Milind Halapeth, Global Cloud Practice Vice President, Wipro Technologies. And today we are going to talk about how do we provide a consistent experience from cloud to edge with boundaryless data protection solutions. Next slide, please. So when we look at the cloud trends, the reality today is, the cloud spends are going to go from 260 billion per year to almost 927 billion per year. At the same time, we see enterprises embarking on the digital transformation journey, and the adoption of cloud across enterprises are accelerating. And this actually points to one outcome. The volume of data that is getting generated in the enterprises are skyrocketing, whether we look at data that is structured or unstructured. And at the same time, organizations are going through certain challenges. IT needs to do more with less resources. And at the same time, data protection is at the center of the entire transformation. Anything with respect to the data protection issues that may lead to revenue loss, it may lead to brand problems. So it is actually a critical problem for any enterprise to solve. And when we look at some of the common investment priorities, in fact, data protection is the number one priority across the enterprises. Enterprise needs to manage the data lifecycle management all the way from the backup, retention, disaster recovery, archival, and long-time retentions. So with this backdrop, I would like to move to the next slide where we'll deep dive a little bit into the solutions. Just a little bit of background about our partnership. Wipro, Dell, and VMware have a solid partnership going on for decades. With a very rich system integration, transformation, and managed services experience, Wipro has been innovating in the market along with the Dell to release the cutting-edge solutions to the market along with VMware as well. These solutions actually span across data center to cloud to edge and to the end-user devices. And some of the most important considerations while we talk about the solution sets is, do our solutions offer lower cost and high value? Does that actually integrate with the other ecosystems within the enterprise? How automation becomes an important tenet of the solution? And finally, these solutions have to work seamlessly. So are our solutions service assured? And are they trusted solutions backed by VMware as well as Dell? So with this, let's go to the next slide. So to solve these kinds of problems within the enterprise, we have a platform, what we call as the boundaryless enterprise, or the BLE. There are multiple components within the BLE. It has a hybrid IT fabric. It has got the engine to manage the modern application development using the Kubernetes ecosystem as well as the VMware Tanzu. But the most important thing which is relevant for today's conversation here is the component what we call as the boundaryless data protection, or BLDP. And in the next set of slides, we'll go a little bit deep dive into BLDP. And we'll talk about the utility and how the reference architecture yields organizations to protect their data, irrespective of whether it is an on-prem or a private cloud or a multi-cloud across various deployment models. Next slide, please. So in this slide, as you see here, there are plethoras of technologies that comes together to solve this problem. And that is why we are saying data protection has to go without confinement of boundaries. The reality today, the world is hybrid. Enterprises already have moved from on-prem to cloud. There is virtualized infrastructure, there's legacy infrastructure. There are newer patterns, for example, converged infrastructure, hyper-converged. And then when we look at deployment options, we have IaaS, infrastructure as a service, we have PaaS, we have some applications which are running across SaaS as well. And on an average, when we look at the RPO and RTO requirements, enterprises need a 4-hour RPO and RTO, and some of the business critical applications, they need instant recoveries. So how do we provide all the services all the way from replication to snapshots, backup and archival, and this has to be blended into the entire data management strategy, and protection needs to be looked upon in a holistic fashion. From an application perspective, we know that applications are now moving away from the traditional monolithic applications into digital applications. Then there are COTS applications within the enterprises. And these applications are spread across, integrated infrastructures, converged, most of the applications are now running on software defined using infrastructure as a code. And from a consumption perspective, the models are getting transformed into as a service construct. So the data protection strategy comes in the center of all this evolution. On the application side, while there is a transformation that is already underway, on the infrastructure side, yes, the reality is multi-clouds. How do we protect data across all these clouds in a holistic fashion without compromising integrity is the important part of the solution. With this, we'll move to the next slide, please. So the key part to understand here is how do we provide a single pane of glass management to solve this problem? How can we manage, protect, and recover enterprise-wide data, whether it is AWS, Azure, or Google Clouds, or any other public cloud, or it could be on-prem private cloud as well. And at the same time, when we look at some of the multi-cloud use cases, as I said, the business requirements are very stringent today. The business critical applications need immediate backup and recovery options. At the same time, organizations are trying to cut the cost by using cloud as a backup option, long-term retention options. So these use cases will have to come together, and a single pane of glass is important to orchestrate these use cases in a seamless fashion. And when we talk about these solutions, the solution has to be scalable. It has to have a high level of cloud performance. And at the same time, it has to protect all kinds of workloads. And this is where we are talking about the Power Protect solution as an umbrella technology platform that is innovated from Dell as well as with VMware. And Wipro System Integration Services brings this life as organizations embark on protecting data across multiple clouds. Now we are actually partnering very closely to take this Power Protect solutions to the market. With this, we'll go to the next slide, please. So the most important part of this Power Protect umbrella platform is it is enterprise-grade data protection. What it means is it provides classic features such as scheduling, service cataloging, policies, governance, automation, compliance, and most of the organizations today have very stringent SLAs. So when we talk about enterprise-grade policies, this platform, Power Protect, along with the services overlaid from Wipro, provides this enterprise-grade data protection services. At the same time, we know that organizations are embarking on a new journey where they are innovating on the digital applications using Kubernetes, VMware, Tanzu, and some of these related technologies. So the good part of this entire solution is it works for the digital native application landscape as well. We can protect data that is coming out from the Kubernetes ecosystem. And at the same time, the cloud native architecture that we are talking here, it supports the entire Kubernetes community. So the key message here is we can actually look at backing up the Kubernetes clusters and the persistent volumes. That is the part for the digital workloads data protection. At the same time, it manages the traditional data protection, the ones which are running in IaaS data protection. So basically, it brings all kinds of data lifecycle management across clouds, across deployment models, and heterogeneous applications into a single pane of glass. And that is the power of the partnership that we are talking here. With this, I'll move to the next slide. What are the customer benefits? End of the day, when customers are embarking on the digital transformation journey, innovation is the key requirement. While organizations are trying to innovate and get into next generation business model, trying to create a competitive advantage and opening a new digital channel for the business, the time to market and time to innovate is of supreme importance. The second one, enterprises do not have a lot of funds available to drive this transformation. So always there is a push to reduce the run spend and champion the change fund. The third component here is architecture really matters. How can we simplify this architecture? The complexity that I talked about, multiple clouds, multiple deployment models, different application patterns, and data protection is one common denominator that has to connect all these models together and protect the data and make sure that replication, snapshotting, the long-term retentions, the policies, everything works according to the enterprise standards. The last but not the least, compliance and making sure that we are creating a flexible consumption model, which is very transparent for enterprises. And the entire 4 pillars of this benefits has to be very simple. It has to be consistent operations, which can abstract the complexity while there is technology underpinnings below that. So these are the 5 things that comes together. So when we talk about providing consistent experience across clouds, across cloud to data center to edge, the boundaryless data protection is one of the key solution elements that enterprises need to embark on. Now, again, I would like to round off by mentioning the partnership between VMware, Dell, and Wipro has come together. The engineering teams have worked together to create a standard reference architecture. And there is a definite roadmap as well as the use cases that are stress tested to work in the enterprise scenarios. We are committed to drive enterprise transformation for our customers. And we look forward to seeing you in VMworld 2020 and stay tuned for the further updates. Thank you.